If you plan on capturing your travels, adventures, sports, swimmings, and any other precious moments of yours, but you don't have the money to buy a GoPro, and you are scared of bringing along your camera because it is not shockproof nor waterproof, look no further. For today, we will be taking a look at the SJCAM M20, an alternative brand to GoPro, but at the fraction of the cost. First of all, just a disclaimer, just to set some proper expectations. This is an old video, so sorry for the overall quality and presentation. As of this moment, this item has been sold a long time ago, and all of the footage done by this unit has been lost due to a corruption on my computer back then. So I'm really sorry for that. Moving on. Here's the star of the show for today. At this side of the box is a QR code just in case you'll still have problems searching the App Store of your smartphone in the year 2021 and onwards. And below it is a QR code for verifying its legitimacy. Its full specs is listed at the back of the box, and at the other side is a list of items that's included on the box. Upon opening the box, you'll be greeted by the camera itself. A little piece of paper, maybe from the reseller, that has instructions for item testing. Here are the accessories based on the listing from the box. Micro USB, a chewable candy, glossy mounts with 3M branded stickers for extreme sticking power, the clip-on case if you want to place it somewhere in your shirt, which by the way does not attach itself with the waterproof case. Self-explanatory screws and arms for connecting your mounts extensions. Extra 3M pads. Microfiber cloth with SJCAM branding. A couple of stickers because they wanted to tell you that they are a nice brand. And the product manual. That's pretty much about it. Upon opening the box, the camera itself is already enclosed on its waterproof case. There's an instruction engraved on this side on how to open it. The camera itself is made of a matte finish, which has a feeling of being rubberized. As you can see, this camera is not like the traditional ones which are on a landscape body. This one is on a portrait body, but that doesn't mean that its shots would always be on a portrait mode. It's just the shape of the chassis. Below the lens, by the way, is where the first LED indicator. On this side is where the mini HDMI, micro USB, and memory card slot is located. Here's the screen, another LED indicator, and I think below it is the speakers. I believe I forgot. On the other side is the back and next button for navigating its menus. And on top is another LED indicator, the power, and the shutter button. Below is the battery compartment, which houses the 900 mAh lithium-ion batteries with these crazy flaps for easy pulling. Here's how it looks like when you turn this thing on. If you like fisheye effects on your shots, you might get to like this camera. There are some that has a higher intensity in terms of capturing fisheye shots, those that do a really roundish video or picture. I'm not a fan of fisheye lens, but this one for me personally is on an acceptable level. What I like about these kinds of action cameras, like this one, is that they have their own official app that you can use to enable some of its features like file transfer and the remote monitor where you can watch your shots directly being streamed to your smartphone. Add to that is a feature where you can also use this as a webcam when connected to a computer. Going back to that piece of paper, my curiosity just sparked, so I'ma do this test and see if this is really a waterproof case.
Thousand years later.
Oh my God.
Back then, when you purchase an action camera, regardless of the brand, most of the time you were given the basic stuffs. If you want the accessories, you have to buy them separately. This, on the other hand, is one of those companies that pave way on giving you free accessories right out of the box. Their marketing back then was simple. Create an action camera that does decent quality shots, decent build quality that has bundled accessories at an affordable price. And it paid off, like skyrocketing their brand's image in an instant. Now for the sample shots. Again, I'm sorry I lost them all, but here are some that I have been able to recover. Most of these samples shows what we did with it back then. As a previous owner of this model, I have to say it's a good camera by the time it was released. Not the best, but just good. And I mean that only for the action camera category. It has somehow bested the other brands for clarity, well except for the GoPro quality. But honestly, the details are lacking. It's always grainy even when you're not doing night shots. It sometimes produced washed out colors when filming. When set to its default settings when filming, most moving items tends to blur. I tried to switch to its 60 frames per second to see if there's gonna be any changes, but there's still none. And the smoothness of the movement that you're expecting, it's not present on the 60 FPS. I don't know if that's because I have a defective unit or maybe it's just the way it is. I tried to use it as a dashcam without the shockproof case, but the plate numbers of the cars in front of me are still unreadable. Take note that I use it on a Hyundai i10, which is fairly small car with a small hood, so the distance of the car in front of me should be minimal when compared to an SUV or a sedan. The mounts or the arms and the screws are kinda problematic on this device. It sways even when tightened enough. It cannot lock and secure its position tightly on its place, hence the reason why I got scared of placing it alone anywhere on the exterior of my car. I usually add a small string on its casing just to have an extra layer of security if ever it falls out of its place due to the wind when moving. On the box, it says it's 4K capable. Yes, it is, but let's be honest here, guys. It's just like a crop video. A small resolution video stretched to look like a high resolution video. Maybe it's just to market it as a 4K capable for the name's sake. For if you watch it on a legit 4K screen, you'll probably be greeted with a lot of blurs, washed out images, and a lot of pixelizations. That's how bad it is. So I suggest if you plan to own this kind of action camera, stick with the 1080p settings, as quality does not increase when you increase it into the 4K category. Oh, and by the way, the 720p option makes the screen smaller, which in turn lessens the unwanted pixelizations of your video, but text would still be unreadable. So it's up to you if you want those 720p settings or the 1080p settings. But for me personally, I'd go for the 1080. Here are the cons that I encountered, which led me to sell it afterwards. The battery is not universal. Its battery life is very short, yet it's way too long to charge, given the fact that it's only a 900 mAh battery. I have a phone that is more than thrice the capacity of this battery, but in terms of the duration or how long it takes to fully charge, in terms of the time taken, they are both just the same. The build quality of the battery seems to be questionable, as mine tends to expand slowly. I noticed it by the time that I was having a problem trying to pull out the battery from the case. The flaps on the battery would be useless by the time that the battery expands on its own. Grainy, blurry, and poor night shots. Its 120 frames per second option is not doing its intended function. Sound recording is problematic. Sometimes it can record sounds, sometimes it does not. And that is without the case, by the way. And now to end this video, should I recommend this SJCAM M20? Well, for me, this particular model that I have reviewed was purchased around the year 2017. I don't know if SJCAM did an update or upgrade to its internals for the year 2020, but in case they did update the M20 for the 2020 lineup, I'd say you can consider buying it as long as it's an updated one. But if you're gonna be purchasing an old model or just like in my case, which is a 2017 model, I'd rather stay away from it and look for another options. Not just because the shape of the chassis.
You might appreciate the other form factors like the square one or the rectangular one. And aside from the form factor,
The quality of the shots may be better on a different model. And lastly, aside from those things that I mentioned for the 2017 model, I hate the battery and its battery life. That's it for my personal review of the SJCAM M20. I know there's gonna be some SJCAM M20 fanatics out there that would be upset. But sadly, sometimes we get lemon units, sometimes we don't, or sometimes it's just made that way. So it tends to give us some negative experience on that particular item. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Take care guys, stay safe, and have a blessed day.